This week's Torah portion of Parshat Shmot begins the story of the enslavement of Am Yisrael in Mitzrayim and ultimately their exodus. And part of the exodus is obviously HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God choosing Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, who would become the greatest leader in all of history for the Jewish people for the purpose of the exodus. But when HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when God meets, if you may, Hashem for the first time in the sneh, the burning bush, there's a very strange exchange that goes on between them. And there are a number of difficulties and questions that we could pose. One of those questions is a question which I asked last week as well. It's a question that I imagine we ponder every day, and that is, what is the purpose of our existence? Moshe doesn't say so in so many words, but he does say like this: Vayomer Moshe el Elohim, Hinei anochi ba el bnei Yisrael. I will come to the Jewish people. Ve'amarti lehem Elohei avotechem shlachani elechem. I will tell them indeed that you, capital Y, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God, has sent me. Ve'amru li ma shmo, ma omar alehem. And the Jewish people will say to me, what is the name of this God? And Moshe asks, what should I say to them in turn? It's a very strange thing. I mean, really? Is that the first question that the Jewish people are going to ask Moshe when he tells them that I'm here in the name of God to take you out, to Exodus, to take you out of the enslavement, persecution of Egypt? They're going to say, Mashmo, what's the name of this God? That's what they're going to ask. They wouldn't ask, how are we planning on getting out? How are you going to take us out from this Egypt, from this enslavement? Prove your authenticity, prove your leadership, your dynamism, your charisma. How do we know indeed that you are an agent of Hashem? Why is it that they ask Mashmo, what is the name of this God? And what should I, says Moshe, tell them in turn? There is a tremendous insight offered by Rav Shamsham Raphael Hirsch, and he says, shame, the word shame, which we translate in Hebrew loosely as name, Shemot, the names of Bnei Yisrael. Shame is not only name, but shame, shin mem, can be turned into the word sham. Sham means there. In other words, one establishes a name not only for the name's sake, but for the sake of getting there. What does the name indicate? What does the name demonstrate? What does it reveal with regards to my purpose, my ideology, my reason for living? My name, my shame, I am establishing in order to get sham, to get over there. Says Rav Shamsham Raphael Hirsch, the same thing with regards to the word Shema, which also has shim mem inside of it. Shema Yisrael, hear, O Israel. I hear, I listen. I involve myself in a spiritual experience in order to establish a shame, a name, in order to get sham over there, in order to lead me to something greater. In other words, we as human beings are in this world not only to inhabit the face of the earth, not only to reproduce and to create, but we are here for the sake of a shame sham, to arrive there, to get to a greater place, to establish a more significant purpose for our creation in this world. And that's really what Moshe was saying to Hashem. Now that I am here and I understand, and the Jewish people will understand why I'm taking them out of Egypt, but that's not the hard part. It's not hard for me, says Moshe, to convince Paro, Melech Mitzrayim, and all of Egypt that we're here to deliver them out of this slavery. The hard part is convincing the Jewish people, Sham, to get there. For what? Why are you coming out of Egypt? There's a reason beyond just rescuing all of you from your persecution. There's a deeper understanding, a philosophical significance to why you are exiting and experiencing the exodus from Egypt. Says Rav Shamsham Raphael Hirsch, Sheilat Moshe, the question of Moshe, Eize Shem alav la'atzig b'fnei Yisrael. What name should he reveal of God's name to the Jewish people? Harehi kisheila, the question is, Eize musag shel elahut alav la'atzig b'fneihem. What type of name is God exhibiting in front of the Jewish people? B'chdei ligrom l'shinui berucham, so that he will be facilitated with the ability to elevate their spiritual existence. You're leaving Egypt in order to get Sham, in order to have Shema, in order to Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, to experience the spiritual significance and the entire package of understanding, comprehending, and exhibiting and bringing inside the concept of God, the concept of Kedusha, holiness in this world. That's why you're leaving Egypt. And it's interesting because the Hebrew word mashma'ut literally means to give purpose. Inside that word mashma'ut is both shem, name, sham, to get there, and shema, to hear. We live in this world not only to inhabit it, not only to enjoy it, not only for the sake of our livelihood and for the sake of reproduction. We live in this world in order to reproduce a legacy, in order to further enhance a purpose. That purpose of Shem, to establish a name by getting Sham, to get somewhere that will demonstrate and that will certainly facilitate a greater purpose, a greater significance, a greater allegiance to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to the world that he gave us, capital H, and that he inhabits and allowed us to inhabit it as well, to create and forge that partnership that ultimately the Jewish people do at Sinai when they stand and proclaim Na'aseh v'nishma. This, I imagine, is a large part of our purpose, if not all of it, as such. This is the Torah way, it is the Jewish way, and it is the Gila way. Shabbat Shalom.